once again a very good evening to all of you out here. And today I would like to accentuate speaking questions of IELTS program. And I'm quite sure it will really help you each to understand, first listen, and then speak up and attain a classic score in your IELTS program. So I would like to now proceed further with questions one by one from all of you here. Let's move.
So the question is, describe a plan in your life that is not related to your work or study.
Well, thanks for the question. It is my pleasure and privilege to answer this question. We all know planning and execution are two different sides of the same coin. And I'm sure the saying goes that many a little makes a mickle. So it is very important for each one of us to always first plan and then execute. So one plan apart from my study or from my job is the fact that I definitely would love to become an environmentalist also. And for that I'm working very hard each day and cajole and coax the people around how much they should go green in the world and be able to take every single step through which we can make a massive difference to the world around. So that is why this plan definitely will help me out to reach out to millions of people. Recently I've started a campaign, just like Facebook initiated it way back, Facebook, and now I'm saying it's a nature's book. So instead of saying social networking, I would say it's a nature's networking. And I'm sure it is something that we all need to do it. I'm sure if we just end up taking a bit of that gumption in the right direction, the next generations will definitely be able to reap the benefits of all these. So this is one plan I'm quite sure I definitely will be able to execute quite well and reach the pinnacle in terms of making that great effort to beautify the nature. And I'm quite sure each one plant one with which we definitely can be able to stand for its protection, and cohabitation with animals is something which I would strongly vouch for to the young generations. Thank you. Number 2.
My question to you is, if you ever had to get a chance to go on vacation, then what place would be?
Well, it's a good question about vacations. We all know that we need a bit of time to revitalize our mind, body and soul, and these vacations come like a puff of fresh air. So if I get an opportunity, I would definitely like to go to Switzerland, which is definitely the true paradise on planet Earth. It is the most greenest country of the world, and oxygen content is found to be maximum and highest out there. So that is why I would love to be in the lap of nature with my kith and kin, and I think few of these moments which I can spend over there will no doubt revitalize me, soothe my senses, and help me out to definitely attain a new proclivity through which I can definitely be able to have great admiration for the planet Earth only. So that is why this is one vacation, because I am always attracted to green locations, and Switzerland is one of those countries which you definitely cannot skip from the priority list. So I definitely would love to spend few days, few nights out there with my loved ones and be able to come back home with new vigor and vitality through which I can emphasize on my job even better. Thank you. Number next we have is...
My question is, describe a skill that was difficult for you to learn.
Well, we all know skills definitely are very crucial for each one of us. There are few skills which indeed become quite easy for us to pick up at the earliest, but there are few which indeed become quite implausible. But then there is always a victory ahead of that risk that we initiate in the world. So one skill that definitely was very difficult for me in the first place was obviously cooking, because I definitely have never got much opportunity to cook for myself. And as and when I used to enter the kitchen area, I used to be a bit skeptical and flummoxed. But after this, my mother, she taught me the basic steps towards this, and I definitely initiated it quite well. And just within a fortnight, I would say, that is 2 to 3 weeks time, I was able to gain the expertise of cooking, and today I definitely can prepare scrumptious meals, and indeed they can be so good and finger-licking as well that I'm sure no one can skip these dishes. I also expertise myself into other continental dishes also, and today I definitely can entertain all my guests, and definitely they can come home and they can relish all the foods that which I'm going to be preparing. So all in all, I feel cooking is one of very essential areas, and we all should learn to become more self-reliant. And I think this definitely will be giving me a unique recognition in the world also. So this was perhaps one of those skills which indeed was first a bit, I would say, complicated, but later on with my zeal and proclivity, I could definitely hone up my skills, could pace with it very well, and today I'm quite expertised in it. Thank you. Next, let's look into...
My question is, describe an interesting conversation you had with your friend.
Well, we all know it's only human beings who have the gift of speech. And that is the reason we all can utilize it to the optimal level, through which we definitely can become more loquacious, garrulous, and I'm sure communicative also. So one conversation that I recently enjoyed was with my family member, and that too regarding animals. Because we all know that we come from a family which indeed is very, very steadfast and extremely, I would say, meticulous in its approach. And we as a human beings will always remain scrupulous to the world. So definitely each time, whenever we are dining and wining together, we cannot skip animals from our conversations. And recently we came across a conversation that how we can take more initiatives to help the animals which are still struggling, and they definitely are left parched. They are left in a very, very hideous and I would say squalid places. And what more we can do to create a more shelter homes for all of them. Thereby we can definitely be able to mobilize resources to help each of these animals around. And down the line we definitely get immense satisfaction and tranquility as well, which definitely make us a better human being. So this was one conversation which I think I really enjoyed. And as and when we have a conversation, the very next day only we come up with a blueprint and ultimately the building. And this is how we can suffice the purpose and rescue as many animals as possible in our day-to-day lives. And my animal NGO also is working very hard, as we've got a great team of people over here who are working for us, and they work 24/7. And I believe that this is a great act on humanitarian grounds which definitely going to go with us, and I'm sure we can attain some more extra PR points to heaven with this. Thank you. Next, few questions from the floor. Over to you.
My question is, describe the most interesting journey that you had when you were young.
Well, I believe that traveling is one of the most interesting hobbies of mine, and whenever I get a time out of a busy schedule, I love to explore different locations of the world. And I remember once I was traveling to Maldives with some of my friends. That was indeed the most interesting journey of my life, because it was absolutely breathtaking views and oceanic beauty that just made me feel spellbound. I got literally awestruck to see its magnificence, charm, and its natural locations. And truly, it was a paradise for me for the first time when I explored the beauty of Maldives. So we definitely did some phenomenal sports out there, and I believe we came back home totally revitalized with so much of memories, and we clicked amazing pictures which became part of my memory lane. So I believe trips like these or excursions like these definitely can come as a puff of fresh air, and they definitely can help us to be able to diffuse the stress at work. And I believe that each person should travel if he gets an opportunity, because there is a great deal of demarcation between the people who travel and the ones who do not. Because the people who travel are far more globalized, cosmopolitan, smarter, well versed with current trends, and at the same time they have more acceptance for international nuances and cultures also. Thank you. Next question, over to you.
So my question is, describe a rule that you don't like.
Well, we all know, many times it is stated that rules are meant to be broken. So there was one rule in my school, which indeed I never liked it. And it was indeed to always flaunt certain uniforms on certain days. But at the same time, there were also certain rules, like we were not even allowed to speak in any other language except English. Now, obviously, the people who are fluent might not have any issues with that, including me, because I was in a convent school. But I also came across a number of my friends who indeed were not able to communicate in English at that point in time. So definitely they had more opportunities to speak in other languages, regional languages I would say, like Hindi or Punjabi. And at that point in time, there was a heavy fine which was being imposed on them. And as a matter of fact, a number of students also came from certain backgrounds and they could not afford that. So I believe instead of introducing rules like these which are hard-hitting, I believe certain relaxation can be given to those individuals who sometimes don't have that opportunity to speak in this language, which indeed is, I know, cosmopolitan language of the world. But still, I think a lot more is to be done to ease up the process so that other people as well can be trained effectively, and then these rules can be implemented on them. And I think cohesively, they will be abided by all the people also. So this was one of those rules which I definitely was slightly reluctant in the first place, but then since it's a rule of the institution, and it is quite imperative on our part to always abide by these, because we as individuals simply cannot afford to profane or break the protocols out there. Thank you. Two last questions, over to you.
So my question is, describe a city where you want to live in future.
Well, I believe there are various cities which definitely are on my priority list, but one city where I would definitely love to live in the future would be none other than Canada only. I've already received my PR program way back, but I don't get much opportunity to live over there on permanent grounds due to my work schedules and my work setups here in Indian subcontinent. But maybe 2 to 3 years down the line, I would definitely like to live in a beautiful city that is Toronto, which definitely is one of the amazing and most globalized cities of the world. And I feel it's very, very important for each one of us as well to always keep one or the other ways through which we definitely can be able to create a great environment for ourselves. So this is one city which definitely is on my priority list always. And whenever I get a time out of my busy schedule, I love to throw more different and important parts of Canada, which I believe are most breathtaking, amazing, natural, and at the same time the most exquisite as well. So I believe anyone can be attracted to these enchanting locations in the world. So this is perhaps one of those which definitely fascinates me a lot. Thank you. And the last question from the floor, over to you.
My question is, describe a famous athlete you know.
Well, we all know that games and sports definitely are an integral part of our life because we can get immense stamina, and definitely we indeed can be able to improve our creative faculties, and we can gain so much from these sports like coordination, team spirit, mutual understanding, and at the same time we remain more taller, fitter and better. So one athlete definitely that comes to my mind is none other than Sania Mirza. She definitely has carved her niche as a great tennis player. She, all the way from Hyderabad, she definitely is able to make her presence felt across the continents. She has created great ripples in the field of sports like these, and I know that she definitely has got a great international ranking also, and she has numerous times represented Indian subcontinent and brought immense glory, laurels and accolades for India, and I believe she definitely has done wonders in her life and career so far, and she has been one of those girls who definitely came up from quite a conservative Muslim family, but thereby she definitely was allowed by her family to participate into these sports, and I believe she did full justice to these sports, and today definitely she's one of the most reckoning stars in the field of sports for the world to look up to, and numerous girls in Indian subcontinent look up to her as a great source of inspiration and muse, and I believe such people are very few in number who indeed are there to influence each one of us to action, and I believe that Sania Mirza definitely is one of the most renowned athlete and great figures in India who definitely has done wonders in her life and career. So this brings us to the end of the speaking round. I believe that you all listen, practice to perfection, and do wonders in your life and career. After all, one language that can help you to carve your niche and help you to settle down globally with great ease and conviction. Thank you so much and have a very, very good evening. Thank you.